Welcome to the International Business School Maastricht at Zuid University of Applied Sciences. We are very pleased to welcome you here today. We are so happy that you are attending this open day from so many places around the world. My name is Pietro Casotto. I am 21 years old. I'm originally from Italy. I lived for the past 30 years in the Netherlands. So I know both Dutch, English, German, a lot of languages. I choose for international business because before this I did accountancy, which was not the best suit for me because I think I was sitting too much behind the desk every day. And then I choose to do international business because it's a program that gives you so many possibilities within businesses. And let's go and introduce Luz.
Hello everyone, we are so happy to be here to tell you about our beloved program of international business. My name is Luz. I am 22 years old now. I am a Brazilian girl from Rio de Janeiro who decided to study IB after I did 2 years of marketing in both Brazil and Portugal. Mostly because this program was way broader than only marketing, and I felt that it gives me all the steps, all the tools that I need to know how to run a business and not only a part of a business, which was the case of marketing. I chose to study in the Netherlands because, compared to Brazil, we have way more job opportunities, also safety. So again, I'm from Rio and it's quite a violent city. Here you don't have this type of stuff. Here is way easier to work, build your family, have a house, stable life. So that's why I chose to come here.
Yeah. So we are going through the program of this virtual open day. So first of all, me and Luz are going to give you the general presentation about our study program. Afterwards, we will have a sneak peek video about active learning, this new system that we have. Then we will meet some of our students, the students that are doing various business challenges even around the world, in the Netherlands, nearby or far away. Then we will have a video about Kylie, who is from the USA, and Camille, who is from Poland. They will talk about how it is to be an international student here in Maastricht. There are many international students, so they will explain a little bit how the international scene is here in Maastricht. Then we will have the live connection with our dear student Joep in the UK. He is studying in London. He's doing his exchange in London. And then we will have a Q&A. I want to remember everybody that we have a chat that is open for questions. So if you have any questions, the main language is English, but you can make questions in Dutch, in German, in French, in Spanish, what you like. Your native language is perfect. I don't know if we have any Chinese native speaker.
Do we? We have people all around.
So just ask your questions in the chat and there will be many students who are ready to explain everything to you.
And answer your questions.
Yeah. I have a few questions for you, actually. The first one is, what if you could learn by doing? Many universities give their students the knowledge throughout books, for example. Here at Zuid International Business, we do that by actually doing stuff, by having business cases where we collaborate with different companies. So this is our first question. Luz will talk about that afterwards. Second one, what if you get a say in how you would prefer to learn? A big one, this is a new concept that we have from this year on. So that's a very big change that we have. Third, you get to choose the people you work with. Many times you don't get the possibility to choose people. Here at Zuid we have 300 people. 300 students that you can choose. You can collaborate with anyone from the first, second, third year. You can choose yourself. So friends or maybe not friends. So you can do a lot of things. If you get feedback instead of just grades. I will talk about that later on, but we don't have any grades here at Zuid. We learn by getting feedback. So that's another big thing.
So here at Zuid, we acquire our knowledge not through reading books, not through memorizing theory, not through be given something that people believe is the right way to do it, but we learn by doing and doing real-life business cases. So we get more motivated to do our school projects because they are actually something we are interested in. It's way easier to learn when you practice. It's way easier to get connected to the material, to the tools, to the discoveries that you do while you're working in IB when it's something that you're passionate about. So for an example, you could work as a business consultant to your family business, like Pietro did in Italy, right?
Yeah, for example, one of my business challenges in November was that I actually went to Italy to my family's company and I consulted them. So there are so many possibilities. You can go everywhere. Just it's so important that you use your network. Maybe your father knows someone, I don't know, in Brazil or maybe in Spain. You can all use these networks to actually get new business challenges. Perfect.
Yeah. Or you can start your own business in a subject, in something that you're always passionate about, or if you have a really specific skill set and you would like to develop it to the next level, you can also use this to create your own individual learning goals in IB. So it's a really broad concept where you can develop multiple different skills, things that are not necessarily from the same field. With Pietro, we'll talk about it shortly. And at the end of the graduation, you will be sure that you have a group of skills that cover many different fields and many different areas in business, international orientation, and everything else.
Yeah, so Luz briefly talked about the fact that we have multiple worlds, multiple subjects that we learn at site. So many people choose this study because it's a very broad study about business. We can do so much here. So also for people that are maybe not yet sure what to do, international business is a great choice because it gives you the possibility within the business field to do so much. For example, we have the world of communication, the world of professional development, we have the world of finance, collaboration, supply chain management, we have marketing, we have so many subjects that all need to be covered by everybody, so you will learn all a little bit about these projects, or maybe even more. But at a certain point within your study, you will realize, for example, at the second year, oh, I'm really good at marketing, for example. I really like that. I really like international marketing. I would like to work for Coca-Cola or for Apple one day. It's all possible. You could really start to learn more, and you say to your coach, which we will talk about it later, I really want to know more about marketing. And your coach will say, perfect, we will learn more about marketing. So the nice thing about IB is the fact that we have so much choice that it's very easy to start and then finding your own path afterwards.
Well, now I would like to tell you a little bit more about our schedule and the student in the lead approach. So here, we don't have a mandatory schedule. You have the power to choose which classes, which events, how you're gonna work. I don't know if many of you also have side jobs, but I know that here at IB we have many students who have a part-time job next to their studies. And this program is really well for you because it's really flexible and it gives you the freedom to, build your schedule in a way that doesn't affect your performance in work and in studying. So for example, we will have one community day per week. In this community day, you will meet your coaches, which are 3. I believe Pietro is going to talk about it shortly, so I don't want to give any spoils. But you're going to have 3 coaches. One of them is your personal coach that you're going to grow a connection with because he's going to know the general learning development that you're going through, like your general process, because he's going to know everything you're doing next to one specific project. Also, you have the other days of the week to work on school projects with your fellow students. Also, something worth mentioning is that our community days are vertical, so you're going to work with first, second, and third year students at the same time. They can all, give you feedback. They can all share knowledge with you and learn with you. The other days, besides working with them on challenges, you have the events, which are workshops that you can book. So, for example, you're going to have one workshop about the same subject 4 times in one semester. And you can choose which time, which section you're gonna subscribe to. So you can build your own schedule this way. Also, an example for that is that today we're shooting. Tomorrow, I have a company visit. So me and my team, we are doing a internal business analysis in this dance studio in a city close to Maastricht. And we're gonna meet with the owner tomorrow. We're gonna talk about our progress in this project, and we're gonna also have the opportunity to see the school. So because I don't have this super traditional mandatory schedule, I have the freedom to experience things that maybe in a traditional program I wouldn't. So that's amazing. Going to the next slide.
Yeah. So grading, this is a big subject within IB, because we understand that maybe once you've heard there are no grades, maybe you think, oh, that's what's happening, because that was also our first reaction to that. But it's very simple. So the grading system, I won't go too much into depth with that. You can also ask questions in the chat. You will get explained much more than right now. There are no written exams. So the fact is, you will have a business challenge. You will get feedback based on that. The business challenge, the feedback will be graded. So actually, for example, I went to Italy. I did consultancy for this Italian company. Then I came back, and my coaches, together with professionals that also walk around here in school, looked at my project and said, okay, this is good, or this is bad, you need to improve this. And this is actually how grading works here, actually how it goes in a normal company. So it's much more like a normal company where you don't have times where you get assessed, but it's just a process where the people will see if you grow and if you're doing good. And they will help you and guide you and say to you, look, this is not going well. You need to adjust this and that. If you want to reach this target, they will say to you, okay, you need to do this and this. But they will not make the targets for you. You will make them themselves. So this is basically, it's a very new concept, but it's very simple to explain to you, because it's just ask your father or your mother how it works in their company. It's the same right here.
Yeah. Now you must be asking yourself if you will have to do everything alone. And of course, you're not going to do anything alone. You're going to have a support system that will give you all the tools, all the knowledge, everything you need to succeed in all your individual learning goals. So to start, you're going to have 3 coaches in your community. One is your personal coach, as I mentioned before, who is going to be aware of all the projects that you have going on. And you're going to have 2 more coaches in your community. And they are not necessarily your personal coach, but everyone in the community, also cross communities, are entitled to help you, are entitled to give you feedback. Myself, with this team that I have, that I'm working in the dance studio project, I'm a second year, so 2 second-year people. I have 1 third year from the 3-year track, so you can also work with people from other tracks. And I have a first year from the 3-year track as well. So it's a quite mixed team, because I want to get the best out of everyone's experience, also quite international. You're also going to have experts, and normally these are the people who are giving the workshops, the events that I mentioned previously. You have experts in any field you can ever imagine. You have someone available to give you feedback on any ILO and any challenge that you made at any time. You can always book them online, on site. They're always available. You also have your fellow students, of course, so the people you work with in your projects, the people who are in different communities in your community, you can always ask them as well. So you have quite a solid support system to guide you during this program.
Yeah. So on to the next slide, which is probably the most important thing about this school, about International Business School here in Maastricht. Attitude. So the main message we want to get across is that this system is giving you a lot of freedom. With a lot of freedom comes a lot of responsibility. So that means that you will have a lot of freedom, so you will be able to make your own schedule, you will be able to make your own groups, you will be able even to choose your own business challenge. So which company you want to work with, you need to reach to them and everything by yourself. The important thing is that, indeed, as I already said, the discipline is very important, because you need to understand that if you want to have a successful business career in the future, you will have a lot of freedom, but you need to do a lot of things. So number one, be very motivated. So if you are a motivated person, if you really want to bring change within the business world, because companies these days are looking for people that are motivated, that do things. They are not waiting for an accountant that is sitting all day just typing. No, they are looking for people that solve problems. So this is why this program, if you're a person that is really motivated, or maybe want to get motivated, because maybe you sit down 2 years on your desk with Corona and now you're thinking, I want to get out, I want to do something. This is a beautiful program because it gives you the freedom with a lot of responsibility and discipline. So this program will also teach you these things, but keep in mind, if you're searching for a study that is very easy, that you're going to sit behind your books and do nothing, this is maybe not for you. Maybe look for another study. But if you are someone that wants to be engaged, wants to be motivated, and really wants to change something, this is the right path.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In this slide, I'm going to tell you about our exchange program. So what are the options in your third year? And in your third year, you can go on exchange, which is what me and Pietro are choosing. I am choosing to go to Spain with also one of the students who is in my dance studio project, and Pietro is choosing to go to Dublin, right?
Dublin,
in Ireland.
right.
So you can choose to go on exchange with one of the many partner universities that ZAID has around the world, or you can do a minor, which is a specialization. And then in the other semester, so 2 semesters, in the other semester, you can choose to do an internship in an internationally operating company. So you don't necessarily need to do the internship in the place that you do your exchange, but it needs to be in a company that has international operations.
Yeah. This is how your track will look like. So this is how the study will be constructed. You will have a first phase, which is International Business Atelier, which is the first and the second year, the time that you will do business challenges, that you will gain knowledge, that you will get a lot of theory. This is the time that you are going to fill your luggage with theory, with experience, with working with a lot of people together. This is the time that you will do business challenges. Maybe you will already go abroad for 1-2 weeks. It could be I went. You will get a lot of theory, a lot of experience, as I already said. Then you go into phase 2, which is the international business field. All this theory and experience you have gained, you have put in your backpack, you will apply it. So, for example, in an exchange with another partner university abroad, or most of all in the international internship. You will go and work with an international company that has international relationships, and you will use all the knowledge you have gathered and you will apply it. And then you go on into the last phase, which is phase 3, which is the International Business Degree Show, which means that it's a time that you will have found your vocation. It means you will have found if you like marketing or finance or maybe management, I don't know. And you will have an internship based on that. And you will have also you will get your degree, you will make your thesis, and you will finalize based on the subject you have chosen. The last slide.
And finally, you're gonna be graduated, and you're gonna get our beloved bachelor diploma in business administration. Hopefully 2 years.
Hopefully.
No, we're gonna make it for sure. In this phase, of course, you can choose to do a master as well, and you're gonna be prepared to the working field.
Yeah, of course.
2 years for us, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So you will have so much experience. Also, what we see a lot of times is that the last internship that you will have, also most of the time will hire you. Most of the time, I think 70% of the times that happens. So there is a really big chance that you will work in an international company, or you will go on with your master.
also the companies that you grew your connections with, because in this program also we had 4 years now when you got to this phase that you networked, that you trained your critical skills, that you trained making decisions, that you trained, you know, how to create your career path, what to focus. So I can't wait. So,
and then are you ready to change the game? We will now go to the next part of our program. We will see a video that was recorded in one of our communities, and we will see students that will explain how it is to work in this active learning approach.
Hi, I'm Pau, and today me and my classmates we are going to talk about international business. Come with me.
Here you actually use your intrinsic motivation to go out into the business world and to find out what it is that you want to develop on. Everybody is actually really motivated to work because you choose this program, you choose what you want to work on, so you're going to do it, you know, you're going to want to work for that.
Every day looks really different from each other. For example, on Tuesday we are allowed to be in school. We work together to our challenges, to our projects. We can talk with the coaches, basically everyone is here. But in the other days we have meetings with businesses we are working with, and it's important the work we do in our groups because it's basically the fundamentals of our study.
It requires a lot of like motivation and organization, I would say, because it's mostly like focused on us. So we have to plan our day, we have to plan the meetings with our like teams or groups we work in.
Yeah, and I would say it's challenging because I think we're used to being afraid of failure, and here I feel like there is no such pressure. Failure is part of the process. You will fail, that's for sure, but that's how you learn. So it really changed your mindset about. The PLO is the program learning outcome. Basically, it's skills that we have to
get after this program. After the 3 years, we're supposed to improve the skills.
So we have to find what we call challenges. So we basically go to a company and then, we set an agreement saying, okay, we're gonna work on that mission where we can do it for you.
Working with real companies is a great idea because you get into the market, into real business with 19 years old, and you learn how is it working, how is it going.
Yeah, we're working on a project with an organization that is called the Masters in Maastricht.
And they want to improve the healthcare system basically in the Netherlands. Instead of being sick your whole life, you actually learn how to participate in society, and we're helping them expand instead of only here in Maastricht. They have a big capital injection. They want to expand to 50 different cities all over the country. We're setting up marketing plans, we're doing social media, like collections for them. We're just expanding the brand.
And if we have a question, if we need some advice, guidance, we go to our coaches.
And you approach them, but they don't give you the straight answer. It's like a sparring contest, right? Like you're in the ring and
they always give you tools first.
Then they don't give you clear answers, but that makes it fun because it's like a little victory every time you approach something, you reach a goal, right? So
So actually our community here consists of so many people from different cultures, different backgrounds, and also different ages. So we all learn from each other.
Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you soon here in International Business in Maastricht. If you have any questions, put it in the chat.
welcome back. Now we're going to go to the third part of our program, where 5 students and our beloved coach, Ster Vriesing, are going to talk about the business challenge they did during this year. So over to you, Ster.
So thank you, Luz and Pietro. My name is Esther, like they said. I'm one of the coaches at International Business, and with me today I have a few lovely students that study international business, and we'll begin our round table discussion by introducing yourselves. So I'm going to start over here with Zara. Can you, apart from your name, tell us who you are, where you're from, what year are you in? Just a brief introduction.
Yes, I'm Zara. I'm 20 years old. I am a second-year student and I'm from Kenya.
Kenya.
Yes.
Okay. Good, thank you, Zara. And next to you is Lucio.
Well, I'm Lucio, as you said. I'm from Tenerife, Spain. I'm 18 years old and I study international business first year.
First year,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. And right next to me, Yara.
I'm 18 years old, I'm a first year student, and I'm Portuguese and Dutch.
Portuguese and Dutch, okay, good. So you speak the two languages, I'm sure you speak multiple languages as well. And next to me we have Mateus.
Well, I'm 19, I'm from Community C, I'm from Poland.
Poland. You in your first or your second year?
First year.
First year student in Community C, thank you. And then Lucia.
I'm 19, I'm a first year student, and I'm Dutch and Argentinian.
Dutch and Argentinian, so we have an interesting mix of people here. And just for me to remember correctly, we have one second year student, Zara. The rest of you are in year one. You mentioned you're in Community C. We'll talk about what that means. Well, actually, can you explain, Mateus, what that means to be in a community?
Sure. Like, I would compare that to being in a class in school, like high school. You are divided into, in my case, it was A, B, C, D. So here you are also divided into A, B, C, D, but it's a lot bigger than a class, because in a class it would be what, 20 people, 30, and here it's, from what I remember, 60 or something like that. But it's not only people who are 19 as I am, it's also people who are 26. Maybe even 30, and we are all, everyone is on different level of study. It's both first years, second years, maybe even third years, I don't know any. So it's a lot of diversity in one space.
Okay, so there's diversity in nationalities, we've already established that, and like you mentioned, you're all part of a community, and you explained that a community consists of around 60 students, but they could be from any year. So there are first year students, second year students, third year students together in one community. So just for people watching, Lucia, can you explain what that means? So what does a community day look like? You come in, you sit down and you watch a teacher teach a class, or not at all?
You go to class, you sit down, and you listen to the teacher, because he, as a teacher always do, as explained. But it's not like a high school.
Okay.
You work as a team. Like you work with, for example, I work with Mateus in the project. So we always search on the internet what to do, and if we have any doubt or something, a problem, you have to ask our coach, which is the teacher that is explaining every day. And just like that, is to work in teams.
Work in teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in this community together. Is there, you say there are teachers, we call them coaches.
Yes.
How many coaches are in this one community of 60 students, Lucia?
Well, I'm in Community B with Yara, and I think we have around 5, but it's not like they give us a lesson on, for example, marketing or something. They're mostly there to like help us set the foundation of our study and like guide us along. And then maybe sometimes they have a little lesson on a certain topic or some news that they need to share with us about the structure or what they're planning on doing. And then each coach is specialized in something else. So my coach is specialized in marketing. And that works out because then I started out with my marketing business challenges, and that's how you kind of like get your help, and then by also joining the lectures, but that's all up to you. So you decide everything yourself, kind of, yeah.
Which you mentioned a few interesting things. So you're in this community, there was a number of coaches, each of them has their own specialty, their own area of expertise. And you say, so I work on business challenges. Which is the backbone, basically, of our study program. Yara, can you explain what is a business challenge and what are you working on right now, for example?
A business challenge is usually given by a company. You contact a company that you want to work with, or just a company that meets your interests. Me and Lucia, for example, we are very into marketing, so that was the first project we worked with. It was this keto food company. It's one person who sells the food and makes it and does the whole project. What we do is we have meetings with this person. The main thing we are looking for is knowing what their problems are inside of the company. We ask what are the difficulties you are currently facing, and then we have to understand and figure out a way to make it better, come up with solutions. For example, with our challenge, the boss company was facing a lot of issues with marketing, with communicating everything they wanted to communicate with its customers, and we created Instagram posts, flyers, etc. Yeah.
Okay, right. So you find this company yourselves. They have a problem, maybe, and they need your help. And you start looking into how you can help them. How do you do this? Does the teacher tell you how to do it? Zara, can you explain about the process? So you're working probably on a different challenge than they are, but what's the process? What do you do when you have a challenge?
So I also had a marketing challenge as well. I had to come up with a digital marketing strategy for a company in Kenya. And so obviously, first I had to understand, right, what is marketing? What is a marketing strategy? Let's learn a digital marketing strategy. And so personally, I did first research with my team as well. And when I got stuck, I would always go to my coach or the expert and ask, okay, this is what I understand about marketing. Have I understood it correctly? Am I looking at it in a reasonable way? And also, you can also learn from the business themselves, because I had to conduct an interview with them as well. So I'd provide my suggestions, or I'd just trying to get information from them as well. And they'd always provide feedback like, oh, you see, looking in Kenya, because of the culture, that wouldn't work. Or in that way, you'd also learn not only about the business, but about the culture. And yeah, basically that's it. Yeah.
So you're actually working, you're carrying out the research, you come across information, and you say, when I get stuck, I ask one of the teachers, or we call them experts, or my coach, and I get feedback. And the people in the businesses, they give me feedback as well. What do you do with this feedback? Can you explain? Because it's a very crucial element of our educational system. You get feedback, and then what? What do you do?
Well, that's the main point of this study, to gain that feedback. Because in school, previously, at least that's my experience, you had to be 80% right to pass something, or less or more, never mind. But here, you don't have to be right all the time. You can make some mistakes, because we are people, we make mistakes. And that feedback is for you to reflect on yourself, because sometimes you're not able to do that by just yourself. You need someone else's opinion, like professionals, coaches, or maybe even your colleagues. Yeah, exactly.
True.
And they can say, all right, he's good at presenting, but yeah, he needs to work on, or I don't know, on something, on making presentations. And that feedback later is used for you to reflect on yourself in front of everyone, coaches, your friends, so they can see your growth in the past period.
Yeah, that's true. And also the feedback is to gain some credits, because as you know, if you want to pass the year, you have to gain credits. I think it's 60 this year.
Yes, 1 year is 60 credits, yeah.
So, as you said, feedback is to help us to reflect, and obviously to do it more proper.
Okay, so you get the credits, and normally, and I think a lot of people watching are familiar with the system that you come from as well. You said in high school, I had exams, I would study, and I would take the test, and I would pass, 55% would be correct, and I would get my credits. We don't have exams, right? There's is that good news or bad news? What's your experience been? very different to what you're used to?
I think it depends from each person. There are just people that are used to and work better with exams, and other people who just work better with like in teams and doing business challenges like we do. I personally think this adapts to my way of learning and who I am. But I struggled a lot the first 2 months. I also noticed that the people around me were also struggling the 2 first months, because it's a whole new system. It takes a while for you to understand what you really need to do and what it's all about. But once you get it, I think you really get it, and that's when I started to be motivated and understanding that this was the right choice for me.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear it. So you said you struggled the first few months, and as a coach, I noticed the same thing, because people say, yes, it's great news, right? You're telling me we don't have exams. You don't tell me which book to study. That's fantastic. But then when reality hits, and they realize, with responsibility comes freedom. So if you don't do anything, nothing happens. You find your business challenges. We don't do it for you. We can help, of course. We have our connections. You do your research. You form your teams. You approach the experts, the professionals in the work field, the coaches, fellow students. You give each other feedback. You process that into a system.
Yeah.
And based on that, we can track and you can monitor your progress. And that's how we see that you're learning, that you're developing. You briefly mentioned that it's not just experts and coaches that give feedback, but we are actually meant to give each other, you're meant to give each other feedback. Yeah. Can you give an example of this? So how does that help, and what do you do?
For example, I imagine I'm working on a marketing challenge here with materials and that. But for example, I need to know what marketing means, for example, yeah? I don't know.
Because your first year, you've just come in,
yes.
You have no idea what marketing is.
It's an example, yeah? Yep. So imagine I research on the internet what marketing means. I also ask my experts. So I wrote it on my documents, for example, yeah? So imagine I don't want to ask my colleague, I want my expert, sorry, but I want to go to ask my colleague. So he gives me feedback. So he tells me, Lucio, you have this problem. This is not correct, for example. And then he gives me the feedback about what marketing means, or what different strategies of marketing are. I don't know.
Anything could be about things like marketing or your personal development, I guess.
As well.
And you use that. You talked about, I can't remember exactly who said it, but you talked about learning objectives, your individual learning objectives. Can you explain what that is?
Well, within the challenge, you want to learn things from it. So not only about the field, but also personally, you want to develop maybe your communication skills, specifically business communication skills. You want to learn how to conduct an interview, because you'll be talking or conducting interviews with companies. Presentations, for example. So within the challenge, you'll create your own individual learning objectives, and once you've completed the challenge, you've also completed these objectives. So you've learned, you've done your presentations, your interviews, and you've received your feedback as well. So with those, you can get your credits as well, basically.
So within one challenge, you could be working on multiple learning goals. And I think one of the great things, we were briefly speaking to each other before we did this interview, and I was told that in fact the two of you are already working at a company, and you're in year one. Can you explain how this happened, what you're doing?
Well, how this happened is we get a lot of emails about different experiences we can have here and different opportunities. Like, for example, doing this is something that you get emailed about. And we got an email about Vita Talalay, which is a company that our school works with quite often, about a marketing internship for first year, second year, and third year students. And of course, there were all these requirements and everything, but we decided to just kind of go for it because they're specifically asking for us, so they probably don't need someone that professional. And we had a few meetings, And this was all during the lockdown, so luckily it all worked out well, but we work 11 hours a week to basically help market the company on social media. So I'm in charge of LinkedIn, Yara is in charge of Twitter, and then on top of that they give us all these separate different tasks that have a little bit to do with finance, supply chain management, and then you learn a little bit about everything. And what's really nice is we can use this for credits, and we can use this to ask for feedback. So we can go to one of our coaches here, experts, show them what we've been doing, and then ask for feedback and get credits on that. So it's kind of like a double win-win situation,
because the company benefits from your fresh perspective and
we gain experience and we get credits. So it's really nice.
And you talked about, because as you said, many of you are busy doing marketing challenges, but there are, of course, many aspects. I mean, there is a certain requirement. By the end of 4 years to get your Bachelor of Business Administration, you need to cover many different fields. You have to have developed soft skills, but you talked also about supply chain management, finance. So do all of the challenges that you're doing, does it incorporate many different things? Matthias, can you say something about that?
Yes, definitely. Like, it's hard to find another similar challenge to the one before. Everything is different because we have 10 different worlds that we have to work on, which is like finance, marketing, management, supply chain. So you have to find different stuff for yourself so that you get experience in each and every one of these worlds. So for example, you don't want to only work on marketing. You have to also develop some kind of finance knowledge. So at first, I was looking into more of a marketing things, but right now I'm focusing on finance because, like I said, I don't want to be a specialist just in one area.
Yeah. So you find these challenges yourself. Do you always have to work for a company or do a challenge with a company? Can a challenge also be something different? Do any of you have experience?
Yeah, I'd like to add, because while we were doing our marketing business challenge, I noticed that I felt a bit, because you do everything yourself, there's not a lot of like requirements from anybody. It's all your own responsibility. And I felt kind of like I didn't have enough work to do. I felt a bit like I was kind of like just floating around, not doing anything, working on. So I decided to do an online course from Erasmus University about innovative management, because that was one of my interests, management. So while you do your business challenge, I decided to do this online course, and then you can also use that because you get all these assignments through the online course. You go ask experts about what you're doing if you don't understand something, and then through that, and at the end you get a certificate to show what you've done, and through that you can also get credit. So you can like decide to go do extra courses or make a presentation and about your language, or you can be as creative as you want. So that's something that's really nice.
Yeah. Okay, just one few last questions maybe, because we don't have traditional classes where a teacher stands in front of a class and teaches you things and you have an exam in a couple of weeks. How do you get your knowledge? You do your research, you mentioned something, but can you, apart from doing your own research, how would you gain knowledge?
You can also sign up for workshops, which are kind of like lectures, which an expert can give on a specific field, so finance or supply chain. But also your peers sometimes give presentation on something they learned and they like to share what they've learned. So they could also give a presentation about supply chain. So you also really learn from each other. And you can always go and approach them and be like, oh, did I understand this in, the way you presented? And of course, you can always go to your coach. And the experts, you can book a meeting with an expert and ask questions. So
which is also, I think, it's a lot of freedom there as well. So you can book a meeting with an expert online or in real life and show what you've worked on. Any last remarks? What type of student would be suitable, or what's the sort of things you need to be able to do when you come here, Yara?
I think,
Is it for everyone?
first of all, I think that if you choose this study, it's not that you need to be sure about it, because it takes a while for you to be sure, but if you're not responsible, if you don't care enough about a school, this is not the right course for you. If you don't work, if you don't have self-motivation, we see a lot of people just not knowing what they have to do or saying that there's nothing to do. There is something to do, you just have to really want it and invest your time in it.
And you do need to find a lot of the things. You get help, but at the end of the day, you need to find your own challenges. Yeah.
I also want to add one last thing. Like at the beginning, I thought that this might be easier because there are no exams and you don't need to study, but at the end, like, it's just as hard because you need to find the time and work as hard to get those credits without doing the exams, so it actually costs the same amount.
Costs the same amount of time.
Same amount of work, so it's not like the easier choice.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I mean, we're convinced that this is a good preparation for the work field.
Yeah.
You learn, you're immediately working.
I think this is great to the future. Like, this is a great experience in the future.
Yeah.
Because everything we are doing, it's not like, I don't know how to say it, like, it's not...
theoretical.
Yeah.
It's real life.
So I think that's great to the future, because I think we will work without desperation.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
So,
and you're applying your knowledge immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. And building a network. You've already got a great
I
network,
think
a
that's
network that we with.
I think that's the difference between the normal university than this university.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your sharing your stories, and good luck with your challenges and your learning goals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, as an international student, it's very important to get a good impression of the city of Maastricht. It's a very big international city. We have big universities here with a lot of international students. We have two students, Kaylee from the USA and Camille from Poland, that brought a cameraman with them throughout the city, and they are going to show you how the city looks like of Maastricht.
The thing I like the most, being able to work with people, and like even though you have like your one group, like everyone's still helping each other out, because you know it's your small little community, so we want everyone to be able to succeed.
The student itself is basically in charge of their study. What you have learned in the lectures, don't specifically need to use everything, but you can kind of like focus on things that you need in your project in the end of the block.
I mean, I don't bike that much, but the walking, like the bikers come first. Bikers always come first, I feel. And then just like always watch out. Advice, get a bike. See, go for walks. Like getting out and just getting fresh air helps so much. And make friends. If you have like one good friend, it helps so much.
You basically choosing what you need to learn at some point. Of course, you need to like learn the basics, but you can dive in more in some certain things, because then you're more interested in the things, and so you're putting more effort in this learning those topics. Yes.
Sometimes Friday mornings I'll go to the market and get like some food, because everything there's so much cheaper than the grocery stores. So go to the market.
Surely you have a couple of sites. One is, I think, My Maastricht, and there's a kind of like explain what you need to look for when you're coming to Netherlands or when you're coming to live in Maastricht. Also a good thing is maybe like join some student groups from your own country that live in Maastricht or in the Netherlands. You kind of like get an idea what you need to look for. I'm Camille, I'm 19 years old. I do international business. Originally, I come from Poland, and what I love about Maastricht is that it is very international, but also on a small scale.
So my name is Kaylee. I am a first-year student for international business here in Maastricht, and I'm from the United States, from Texas. And what I love about Maastricht is that there's so many opportunities here.
So guys, now we're gonna have a call with Joep, a third-year student that is doing exchange in UK. Joep, how you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for asking.
Perfect. So, Joop, where are you doing your exchange right now?
Currently, I'm in London, in the United Kingdom. I'm in Spitalfields, that's in the center of London, kind of on the east side, and I'm doing an exchange with Coventry University.
Perfect.
Nice.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah. And what courses did you choose to do in this university, in this program?
So today I actually have a course of project management for events. Yesterday I had a course of consumer behavior, and I also have a course of business management and decision-making processes.
All very important. I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
And are you liking it, the courses?
Yeah, it's great. Actually, it's kind of different than in the Netherlands because in the Netherlands we get taught very project-based. So we get a project assigned to us and then we work on it. And then while we work on it, we learn. And here it's actually very in the old system. So you get courses, lectures, and then you make notes and you make exams, and then you get your credits.
Perfect. So, Joop, the main question for everybody, what are the costs of going abroad?
Mostly to London.
Because
it is really expensive, actually. It all depends how you arrange your exchange, like what you want to do. So my accommodation was the biggest cost of all. I actually spent £6,500, so that's around 8,000 euros on accommodation, flights, and things like a PCR test for COVID, because that's all still mandatory. But yeah, then you do have a pretty amazing view from up your room, and it's all worth it in the end.
could you maybe show us the view from your room? Ah, that's beautiful.
It is, right?
Ah,
It is
that's nice.
amazing. That's
And at
great.
night it even gets better because then you can see all the pretty lights. So actually, funny story, the first night I couldn't sleep for like an hour because I was actually looking out the window all the time.
Hypnotized by the view.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. And I know that you already mentioned the system, the difference in the systems that you're doing right now in your partner university in Zaid. Are there any other differences that you think it's worth mentioning to the students in this open day?
So, for example, the students, I really noticed that there's more cultures here than on Zuid. There's people from India, Bangladesh, Mauritius, Cuba, the United States, basically from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I've asked someone, and there are above 100 different nationalities here. So on the university, so that's actually pretty cool to get your networking on.
Wow, that's great.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's.
And in your opinion, what are the advantages of going on exchange?
Definitely the experience. You kind of get a mirror in front of yourself in the beginning because you really start noticing who you yourself really are and what you need to do to make friends, and you kind of walk into yourself first, and then after a while you meet more people, and then the fun part starts. You do a lot of fun things. So definitely the experience, that's everything. That's definitely worth all the costs.
Yeah. And what is the challenge or the thing that you already learned about yourself since you started studying in London?
The thing I learned about myself is that I'm not a loner. In the beginning I thought I could be, but in the end I actually noticed in the first few weeks that I really need people around me that I know, that I could just have a beer with. And then I also function very well school-wise, work-wise. Yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear, buddy. We miss you already.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we miss you.
So thank you very much, Joop, for being here, for talking with us, and also talking with all the students that are in the virtual open day. So yeah, as Luz already said, we really miss you. We miss the parties and the beer pong that we did and everything. So really looking forward to see you again. And yeah, hopefully we see each other soon.
Yeah.
I miss you too, guys, and I'll probably be back around May, and then we'll have a drink again. We'll party a bit, and then we have summer vacation. It's going to be great.
Perfect.
See you guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And next, we're going to have our Q&A session, so please stay tuned.
Okay, so we now move on to the question and answer session. So during our conversation, a number of questions came in. So thank you for posting those. And the first one we received, or one of the ones, was from Aisha. And she asks, I have heard that finding accommodation is difficult in the Netherlands. Maastricht maybe. How did you find a room? Anyone who would like to share?
Okay, well, first of all, for me, it wasn't a struggle. I got scammed. But unfortunately, I found a house. It's 850 euros per month.
Wow.
It's a bit expensive, but as I said, I got scammed. I was looking for accommodations like 6 months before I came here. I think I started looking for it in February. So you should find a house February, April, May, something like that. Because if not, you can't
forget it.
Yeah, you can't find a house.
Yeah.
It's a
Anyone would
struggle.
like to share? So that's horrible to be scammed.
Yeah.
Even.
Well, with me, I actually did a different study before this, and I decided, like, completely last minute, beginning of August, to change studies. So I was quite late to find a house, and I lived in Rotterdam, which is 2 hours away, and that's not reasonable to do every day. So luckily, there are a few places that are like student like a student building where there are only student rooms inside. So for example, there's the student hotel or Wow House. They're a bit more on the pricey end, but it's really good if you're an international student. It's safe. Everyone there speaks English. You get like laundry, like the washing machines, everything. There are common areas, film rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's a really comfortable location. But I would start looking earlier than August. So yeah, around May.
Around May.
Yeah.
And also, I think if you are looking for a residence or something like that, you should also look for it before May or February, because it's, as you know, that the demand is a lot from people, from students from around the world. So you should definitely look for residence as soon as possible.
Soon as possible. Any good sites that you can recommend, maybe? Or
You have Maastricht Housing is always good to look at, and also My Maastricht. It's not only housing, but it provides information about the transportation, how it works in Maastricht, about doctors, and handy things to know.
Good. All right. Well, thank you. I think this answers Aisha's question. And a question from Dion. What opportunities are there to go abroad during this study? Anyone who would like to? Matthias, have you got any?
I don't know yet. I know that there is an exchange in third year, like if you are on a 4-year track, because if you're on a 3-year track, it's next year. But I haven't looked into it yet because, well, it's so far away from now. So, but there are a lot of possibilities. Like you can do it whenever you want, to be honest.
From what I know, isn't it that we get options to do an internship, exchange, minor, or pre-master, but you cannot do all 4. You have to decide, I think, between 2, because it takes about half a year to do it, and also the internship can also be done abroad.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do expect our students to spend a considerable amount of time abroad doing an internship. We have exchange partners at more than 100 partner universities across the world that people can do an exchange at. But I know from some of my coach students who are in year 1 at the moment, who are going to go to, I believe, do a business challenge in Greece for 3 weeks, I think, leaving somewhere in February.
Wow.
And then just working at the company, coming back, and that is possible, right? So we stay in touch with them online, and hope they come back safe and sound. So there are many opportunities, and like I said, we have many partner universities. All right, next question. Okay, Steve wants to know, how much mathematics is there in the program? Do I need to have a high level of mathematics before I can enter? Who can
No
answer?
mathematics.
No mathematics.
I think it's
Definitely,
really up
definitely
to
no mathematics.
the person. You know, if they really want to focus on finance and the mathematical area, then
yeah,
they can
true.
do that.
But you don't have lessons of mathematics.
No.
And there are no requirements of a certain mathematics level.
I think unless you do the 3-year, because I do the 3-year, and then they do check your mathematics and your English, but for the rest they don't.
Yeah, it's not
I think it's
necessary.
quite free.
Yeah.
So you say I did a 3-year. You talked about 3-year track versus 4-year track. For people who have no idea what this is, a 3-year track are students with a certain background.
Yeah, it's for Dutch it's VWO or higher, and for international it's I don't know, like I did IB.
Bachelor,
It depends on which country you come
but
from.
like most people, I think it's like or from who I know, it's most of them did IB, the international bachelor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is just the same study program but faster. You can finish in 3 years and rather than 4 years. So that's when we talk about 3-year, 4-year, the difference. So no mathematics required. I guess that's good news for a lot of people, all right? Sorry?
It was for me.
Yeah. And also with the finance part of things, it's not...
No.
I mean, nowadays you can use calculator for everything or Excel. You're not gonna die without mathematics, but it's useful though.
Okay, good. What about English? Andreas wants to know, is it difficult to study in English if it's not your own language?
English is not my first language. I did take some preparation classes to do an English exam, and I do think that was very, very helpful for me, not only to understand what other people are saying and how I communicate with my colleagues, but also when I want to write for companies or write it in a more professional way, you need to use a certain language. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't make it. It would be beneficial for you to take some classes maybe, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah, and I think for me is you have to have a great level of English to study abroad, because if not, how can you communicate with your teachers or with your fellow students?
Yeah.
It's
but
hard.
They do give English courses here for your English grammar and to like business speak, so how you communicate with companies. So I think
I give them.
Yeah.
No, it's true, and you can book appointments also with the English experts and just show what you've written and get feedback, or ask, can you join a conversation or a meeting that we have, and give feedback on how I speak English and what can I improve. So yes, but it does help to have a certain level so you can follow everything.
But it's not mandatory. Like my English back in August was far from perfect.
And it gets better.
Yeah, every day.
If you practice.
Yeah,
that's true. You live here, you always speak English with everyone.
Yeah.
So
you're dreaming in English now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard, to think in English.
Okay, good. Then another question, can I do a master's degree after this bachelor? Does anyone know?
Yes,
yes?
you can.
Yeah.
You can choose.
I think you can do as master as well.
Yeah, if you do the pre-masters, then you only have to do 1 year master at a university. But if you want to do go straight from Zuid to the university, do a master, then usually it's 2 years. So depends.
But the pre-master is only if you want to do a master in international business, and also only here in Maastricht University, not in any other university. So then you just have to do 2 years of a master.
And I think for the 3-year track, it's different, isn't it?
No, it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there are opportunities. Yeah. Evelyn asks, how many hours on average do you spend on studying during the week? You said at the beginning, I thought it was going to be an easy walk in the park.
I'm working on a business challenge, so I spend more or less 4 hours, more or less, Matthias.
It depends, on the week, because sometimes you just do one thing throughout all the week for one challenge, and there are days when you work from 9 to 9
that's true.
all the time.
That's true. I don't know, but for example, 4 hours per week or
4 hours per week?
6 hours. I don't know. I'm working on a business challenge. I'm working on a business challenge, so
yeah,
I don't
it
know.
depends on the business challenge.
It depends.
Yeah.
But
and it also depends on how many business challenges you're working on.
Yeah.
And as you said, also depends on the week. You can be having like a very busy week or just a relaxed.
Yeah, there's a
I
week.
mean, 4 hours a day, not 4 hours a week. So.
Yeah, you must have 4 hours a week.
No, 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, and I guess it also depends on how many workshops you sign up for and
Yeah,
all
true.
of how many meetings you have. Okay. Another question, I think, well, that is already kind of answered. Are there many international students? I know you've got a very international background, but apart from you, you're not the only international students we have, right?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what community you're in, but in general, I think it's very international. But in Community B, I think most people are Dutch. But then I know like there's Community C or F or whatever, and they have mostly international students.
Yeah, people from everywhere, from every continent.
Yeah, from everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I was expecting more international students, to be honest. In our community, as she said, like 90% of the people are Dutch or can speak Dutch. But as she said, in the other communities, you have a bigger variety.
And you're not limited to working with people only in your own community, right? You're able to do challenges with people from different communities. So we don't tell you can't, work outside. Okay, good. Those were the questions that we received. We'd like to thank basically everyone for watching, and hopefully a lot of your questions have been answered. If you have more questions, you can make use of our Instagram account, and actually you're involved with that, so there's a big chance that Matthäus would be answering your questions. And how can they reach the Instagram page? What's the address? Do you know it?
Yes, IBS Maastricht.
Yes, at IBS
right.
Maastricht. Yes, you can send a direct message there, or if you have other questions, you can send an email to internationalbusiness@zuid.nl. All right, so thank you very much once again, and good luck with the rest of your study program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for paying attention, and I hope to see you guys soon at Zuid.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye.